So we are starting to get live.
Yes.
We are live now already? Yes. Welcome everyone to today's session that we at TDSynnex Maverick are hosting together with HP Poly from our demo room here in Stockholm that we share between each other. And just wanted to say first of all that this session is recorded, of course. And there's also a possibility for everyone here to post questions in the Q&A, and we will answer those questions during the session. So please ask as much as you can to us. So where are we here in Stockholm? We are in our brand new HP Poly demo room, and this room is containing more or less everything, the full range from HP Poly. We have video systems. Currently, our 30, X52, X72, we have the G62. So the majority of the products, and in case this needed at some point, we can always adjust and tweak. This will be updated over time. On top of the video systems, we can also show, if you see back here in the far end, we have headsets, the full range, we have the phones. So it's more or less the complete ecosystem from HP Poly. This room is made for you. You can contact us either at Maverick or HP Poly. Use it. Bring your end customers in here. We will support you throughout the whole sales process. This is made to be used for you and your clients. So super important. Remember that. Of course, in the other Nordic countries, we can as well, of course, perform demos within our Maverick demo rooms, our normal Maverick demo rooms that we are hosting or having in our offices. So, did I forget anything? Maybe I should introduce myself first.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's do a short introduction.
Yeah.
Who are on the call. So I'm Thomas Eriksson, located in Stockholm, BDM for smart meetings. So working very closely to HP Poly together with you guys, and also supporting our sales resources across the region. So that's me in very short words. Shall we go over to you, Mette?
Yes, then I will continue, and good morning, everyone. My name is Mette Finnemann, to be on the same level as me. I'm here at the HP office in Denmark together with Lars, who will introduce himself afterwards. And we are definitely also working to have a lovely room like you have there in Stockholm. I am a BDM of Maverick, and I am based in Denmark and working out of our Birkerød office. Yes?
Yeah. So my name is Lars Ballow, technical pre-sales, supporting our customers, distributors, and whoever needs some support within mostly video and Microsoft Teams. And then over to you, Christopher.
And last but not least, my name is Christopher Engelin, and I'm a technical guy based in Sweden. So I do everything Lars does, but for Sweden and Finland. And the Baltics, of course.
Yeah.
Good. Last thing before, I just remembered one thing. Before we hand over to you, Lars, for the agenda points. We at Maverick, that's the reason why we are also wearing these beautiful shirts, are starting up our series of post-IC sessions. First event is actually taking place in Norway tomorrow. There are followed by local similar events in Sweden, Denmark, and Finland as well. So if you haven't received the invite, let us know. Otherwise, just sign up and come and join us. Yeah, Lars.
And I will be in Norway tomorrow at that event, so that will be really fun.
And Denmark next week.
Yeah, and Denmark next week. Yeah, exactly. So good fun. Should we start the presentation? Every time you join a webinar, it's sometimes down to, should we do like PowerPoint by death? No, I don't think we should do that. So we will do a few slides, and then we will jump straight into some of the features that we have on the Poly systems. So let me see if I can share this presentation. There you go. And I'm just gonna optimize that video quality. So here we are, TDSynnex, which I actually used to work with these guys,
Yes,
Mette and
exactly.
Thomas. So that was before my time at Poly. So I know them quite well, and they are amazing people. So every time that you need support on video, HP Poly, reach out to the TDSynnex guys. They really know what they're talking about. We always talk about AI. If you join a webinar, if you join an event, everyone needs to talk about AI. But in this case, we want to talk a bit about AI related to the meeting rooms. I know they can do a lot of AI on the PC. We're probably also going to talk a bit about Copilot and stuff like that.
Yes, let's see what we are able to.
Yeah, but AI in a meeting room. So a really simple thing that we're already using right now in the meeting room here in Denmark is that we use AI for the framing. So that's a really simple thing, and we're going to do demonstrations of that as well. We are so lucky that our two guys in Sweden will support us with all the demonstration, and then are going to run the presentations. So first of all, I shortly talked about the framing mode, but definitely also on the audio side. Really, really important, especially since we're coming back to the offices. We were used to have like a nice little headset.
Yes.
Most of us sitting in a quiet environment at home, but now we go into the office and we still expect a really good audio solution, even though that we don't have the microphone really close to our mouth. So we have added some enhancements on our video systems that will then create a better meeting, and then also making sure that the remote participants will have a better experience when you join a call from a Poly system. First of all, I would always say that the best thing would be to optimize within the meeting room, adding some soft materials or acoustic panels.
Yeah.
But we also know that that's not an option for all. So we added a bit of adjustments that you can do on the systems. So with that said, I think I'm gonna hand it over to our two lovely guys in Sweden. And
Yes, thank you, Lars. So wouldn't it be nice with a cup of coffee?
Yeah, I'll fix that.
And Thomas, he has no meeting etiquette, so now he's making noises, doing everything he can to disturb the meeting and the experience for you guys on the remote end. Let's see here. And as you can hear, he's making noises, producing sounds that should not be in a meeting. It's could be coffee cups, could be paper throwing around, it could be keyboard noises. So if I start typing, for example, on my PC, you should hear this quite loud, and also the noises in the background. And now the coffee machine as well. But if I turn on Noise Block AI, which is in version 2 at the moment, these noises should disappear right away. And if the coffee machine is still running, and if I continue typing while I'm speaking, all the noises should disappear.
that is amazing. I mean, Thomas is always a noisy person. I know that from previously. But I think a really important thing is that there are also other noisy people than Thomas. So I think that some of the things or features that we can actually add, I think, of course, you can't hear it because you're in the same room, but it made a huge difference from us.
Yeah, it did. And I hope it did for you who were sitting at home as well, that you experienced how much it's filtered out. So now we are only focusing on the speak or the voices of Christopher. So it was really good.
Yeah. So from my point, it's of course something that you can hear a big difference right now. But when we have that, how do you say, normally in a meeting room, we are starting to get that meeting fatigue because we are sometimes sitting in a meeting room or in a conversation with someone that don't have great audio. But changing that to a better audio actually makes us more relaxed afterwards. Oh, there you go. Maybe I would like to have a cafe latte and a
Yeah, sure. I just jump into the kitchen. I actually have one question during this. So do you need a co-pilot unit to use this function, or what is required to have this functionality that we showed?
This is all built into the Poly device. So this is before the actual meeting. So we take out every sound in the room with the microphone. So we pick up every noise and every sound in the room, and then we filter out really what's the human voice and what's not human voice. What we want to send into the meeting and what should be filtered out before the meeting. So it's really a technology built into the video bar, and this is a technology that's in all of our bars. It's in the cheapest one, the R30, which is a really cheap bring your own device bar, and all the way across the line to the bigger rooms.
Awesome.
Exactly. And we also have other audio technologies on our video bars. So let's go through the audio first, and then we can talk a bit about the video afterwards. So we kind of stick with the audio right now. So the next part that you want to show, Christopher, that's I'm not sure which which one you want to go first, but please explain a bit about it and then show us what you have.
Yes, absolutely. So Noise Block AI is our foundation. It's really the ground of creating a good meeting experience. But we do have some other technologies as well. So one of them is Acoustic Fence. So Noise Block AI removes all the non-human voices. But you can still hear some human voices from, for example, if you have an open space or an open meeting room door or something, human voices can still be heard from the outside of the meeting room. And this is where our Acoustic Fence comes in perfect. So basically, we created a virtual fence. We set how many degrees we want to filter out and how many degrees we want to keep in. So let's enable Acoustic Fence and see how it works in practice. So now Acoustic Fence is enabled and we are within the perimeter of the fence. But if I start to step out of the Acoustic Fence settings, let's say the meeting room ends over here, and I continue speaking while moving away, you should...
I think he's out now. So
move back in again, you should hear my voice once again. And this is really to remove the human voices that are outside of the meeting room but can leak in.
Yeah, I think this is a really great feature. I remember back in the days when we actually was at a customer, and it was actually in Sweden, where they used the Acoustic Fence because they were kind of a really agile company where they wanted to make sure that they could jump on a Teams call whenever they want to without leaving their workspace. So they built up like small booths with 6 desks. And then when they turned around, they were actually sitting in front of a video system with 2 screens. And they were building 10 of those just next to each other. And we were having discussion about how can we make sure that the audio from the next meeting doesn't enter into this meeting. And so it's a really nice and easy way. And I think also we see more and more of short stand-up meetings in the morning in the office. And often there are people out there working on another project, not part of this. And they can then still sit and work and have small discussions and conversations, setting up the Acoustic Fence, and then we'll make sure that it's within a specific area. Really, really nice features.
I have one more question in the chat, and it was because you talked about the smaller solutions in the start, but do you have any Teams rooms all-in-one solution to offer for 1 to 2 person and or personal use?
So not an all-in-one with a screen. We don't have that right now. I don't see anything close in the roadmap for it. Often we go down to, when we speak about screens, it's always down to which size should we provide. If you remember back in the day, we had a 21-inch screen, which was working really nice together with your PC, but that's too small for now. So I think, should we go with 24, 27? Which sizes should we actually add? So the way we do it right now is that we have on the HP side, the HP screens, which then have embedded our Poly Studio audio and video technology. but you're still using your personal PC for the actual Teams meeting. So connecting still with a single USB-C cable, and that's how we do right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect. Anything else that we should show, Christopher? I think that you actually shared a presentation and a video with me yesterday. I totally forgot about that, so I'm just going to quickly find it because the next part we're going to talk about, and Christopher, you can maybe explain a bit about the reflection and the vibration that we do in a meeting room.
Yes, absolutely. So bad acoustics can be challenging in the meeting room. So if you have reflecting walls like glass surfaces or other hard surfaces, the sound is bouncing around. And with our good microphones, we're picking up all the sound in the meeting room. And then it comes to really the software to filter out what's the first sound and what's the reverb, and then filter out the reverb. And we do that with sound reflection reduction, which Lars will show a video of.
Yeah, exactly. And the reason why we wanted to show a video is that it's so difficult to do live and actually hear the difference. So Chris was really friendly and did a recording of it just yesterday in one of his meeting rooms. So let me go to share the sound and optimize the video quality, and then hopefully you will be able to see the video.
Bad acoustics can be challenging and might ruin the whole meeting experience. With Noise Block AI and sound reflection reduction, we make the experience a whole lot better. So let's turn the feature on. And I should now sound a lot more crisp and clear to you as a remote participant. Sound reflection reduction is included in Noise Block AI version 2 and onwards.
Nice. So I think that really shows the optimization that we do on the audio side. We showed now 3 different steps that we can do. Of course, we have something by default, but it's also something that can be adjusted within the specific meeting rooms depending on which kind of environment you have. So for instance, if you have a really good, acoustic treated room, it might not make sense to add that sound reflection reduction because we are still adjusting on the audio.
But we still see a lot of room has been done with glass walls all over, and that's really challenging for a Teams room solution or meeting room solution. So this is where it becomes important that we have the features that can help us update the audio quality for the ones sitting at home.
Yeah, exactly.
And the cool thing with these are that, I mean, even today, there are amazing technologies that can make a bad meeting experience turn into a great one. And the cool thing is we continue evolving these features. So Noise Block AI just continues getting better. It's getting smarter, filtering out noises, focusing on the voices. So even though it's amazing today, it will be even more amazing in the future.
And the thing is also, if you're sitting from home and you need to be concentrated in the meeting, if the audio is bad, then you lose concentration. That's just fact. So it is really an important thing that we look into have the best audio quality in the meeting. Yes.
Exactly. So let's go to the next one. So now we talked a bit about the audio. We're going to look at the video framing. You can see like Matt and I, we're already using the framing mode, so we don't adjust the camera. That does it by itself. And this is basically my most preferred way of doing framing. Others might have others, but I think it's really, really important to think about that the camera can do a lot of stuff. So first of all, if you look at the video feed over here, this is what we see a lot of our customers is using because they basically just set up the system. Now it works and they're going to leave it. But when you look at the picture, the people are quite small. And simply by adding group framing to the devices, which are again, not a specific license, it's included on all our systems, then we will kind of drag the people closer and it will be easier for people remotely to actually see the reactions on the different framing modes. Speaker framing, that's also an option. Basically not my preferred way of doing it because I would like to see the entire group of people in the meeting room. But sometimes it makes sense in case I do a long presentation, then it would make sense to go with speaker framing every now and then. And then last, or not last, but people framing, as we are calling it, Microsoft is called the IntelliFrame, which is basically where we take each person and create their own small video feeds like they were sitting at home. We're still sending the video feed in a single stream, which means that it will still act as a normal meeting room within that Teams meeting when sitting remotely. And then presenter tracking, that's not included on all our products, but that's more specifically for presenter tracking cameras. And we're going to show that as well, or the camera at least, a bit later. So over to our two great demo guys in Sweden. We talked a bit about that you could maybe support us a bit and do some of the demonstrations on the different framing modes.
Yes, absolutely. So as you can see here, we have the full camera angle here. So we see the whole room, and we are pretty small in this video stream. And even more, if I take a few steps back, if I have a long table and sit a few chairs back, and even smaller, you cannot even see me anymore, right? But let's test the framing features. So let's start with the group framing. Me and Thomas, we are pretty close, but we see a lot of the room and not so much from us. So let's turn group framing on. And with group framing, we can see that the camera automatically adjusts to us. So if we were standing close by, it would frame both of us. And if we're standing a little bit further away, it will reframe to fit us in the room. And if more people are joining in the room, the camera will reframe to frame the whole group of people. And this is really a good way of seeing all the people in the room at the same time, while eliminating, well, the things you don't need to see. And one thing with this is if we want to focus on one person at a time, if like I'm speaking most of the meeting, we might want to use the people or the speaker frame. So let's switch the speaker frame. Now, if I start speaking, the camera will see my face, know I'm a person, and based on the voice and where the voice is coming from, it detects who's speaking and frames me. And if Thomas starts speaking,
and if I start to speak, the camera will then recognize me as the speaker, so it will frame me as well. So this is exactly how it works. It follows the speaker.
And if everyone is silent, then it will automatically readjust to group framing to see the whole room. So I'm not stuck in the focus here.
Before you move on, we have a question that's asked, which Poly systems are you using for the demo? So what system are you on in Stockholm?
This system is a Poly Studio X52. It's the medium-sized Android-based video bar. And this is the internal microphones, it's the built-in camera, everything is, as is. We don't have any extras on this one. And it's a pretty large room here. So we're standing about 3 meters away. And when we move back, we go to 6 to 7 meters away. So it really shows how powerful this meeting bar is.
Maybe I should go and have a sit there, and we can show the how it frames us too when we are on different distances from the system.
Yes, absolutely. And one challenge that we see is group framing. If we're sitting quite close, it frames us perfectly. But if Thomas is sitting further away from me, I'm quite big and he's quite small in this framing mode. And that's why we invented the people framing. So with people framing, it doesn't matter where we sit in the room. It will make us both equal as big. So if Thomas is sitting further back than me, we will both be the same size to the remote participant. This framing mode supports up to 6 tiles, so we get a better view of the people in the room and not the room itself. We want to see more of the people and less of the room.
And I'm sitting like 3-4 meters behind Christopher now.
Yeah, and if we were to disable the framing altogether, you can see how the experience would be without all these framing technologies. Makes quite a big difference, right?
Yeah. And it's all about everybody feels included and on the same level, and everybody is seen in the same way. So that's a really good feature as well.
Yeah, it really does make sense for a lot of people. I think that one of the cases where we still need to think about it is when we should use the different framing modes. So that's often we normally have a conversation or you have a conversation with the customers about which framing technology makes sense in the different scenarios. So there was a question coming in, or maybe... Yeah, I can start by saying like Christopher and Thomas in Sweden, they're using X52. We're using X52 as well. We are probably also around 3 meters away from the device, still using internal camera, microphone, and speakers.
Yeah, looks very good.
And there is one question actually about this. Does the unit support multi-streaming?
No, so right now, Android doesn't support multi-stream. It's something that not even Windows supported yet, but we started to see multi-camera view from Teams rooms on Windows, where you can add up to, depending on which version you have on the PC, you can add up to 4 cameras and send 4 video streams at the same time. But it's still not multi-stream, so it's not sending the video feeds, the squares individually yet. I guess it will be first on Windows and then later on Android.
And then we have another question. How do we learn the users to utilize the different framings? Because right now this person finds it too difficult.
Yeah. I think from my point, I would always make it default and make sure that the systems go back to that default. So we kind of make the decision for the users in case some users want to change the framing mode, then they can go and do it. Luckily, right now, Microsoft added the framing technology or the options directly in the Teams interface. So they don't need to use our hidden menu. So right now they can actually do it directly in the Teams mode.
Yeah, and this is quite easy for the user to change. So let's see if the cable is enough here.
Yeah.
See, on the touch panel here, now I'm a little bit, let's change the camera mode so you can see me better.
Yeah, so one thing you experience right now is that Microsoft actually mutes the video feed while you're in the camera menu. So that's one thing to have in mind, that you need to go out of the camera menu to actually have your video feed active again. But yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good point. So here's the touch panel for this device. And here we have the camera mute button. And to the right of that camera mute button, we have an arrow down button. If I press that one, you will see my video stream disappear. And over here, now you cannot see it, but over here I get which camera I want to use and which framing mode I want to use. So let's tap down that one again so you can see me. Microsoft calls it, the terms are a little bit different than what we call them. We call them group framing, speaker framing, people framing. And Microsoft have a few different terms. So our group framing is the room framing from Microsoft. The speaker framing is called active speaker, and the people framing is called composite. And this is something the user will see when they enter that menu.
Yeah. So I think it's definitely been a lot easier for each user to actually do the different changes to it. Any other question that we should answer before we go?
Some we will wait in the end because they are in another context. So I think we will still keep talking about the camera features, and then we will get back to some of the questions we still have in the chat.
Yeah, and it was 2 hours, eh? We had.
It's always with you, Lars. You talk too much. No, just kidding.
So framing, we got through that. So let's go to the next slide. Another really cool feature that we added is something that we often use in the Nordics, since that the architects are so happy about glass.
Yeah.
Us in the AV and video industry, we kind of hate glass because there's nothing good with a glass related to audio or video. but we added what we call parameters, so we can actually say what are the most important area during this meeting, and then we can actually make sure that we only frame people inside the meeting room. Really cool feature, which also makes sense that when you have glass or you're in an open area, so the camera don't switch to people that is not part of the meeting.
That's annoying that you get your co-workers in your meeting while you're sitting in the meeting room and they walk outside. So yeah.
Exactly, and that again is included in all our video bars right now. There's different ways that you can set it up, but basically you measure the room and they can do adjustment to it. And then depending on which system you're on, you can see which are actually inside the parameter and which one is outside the parameter. So when Mette is saying we don't have 2 hours, we'll do it quite shortly. Just want to show that when looking at HP Poly, we have pretty much video systems, no matter which use you want to do it for. Either the all-in-one video bars based on Android, like we are using right now. We have very similar products, but based on more or less the same hardware, but just optimized for being a bring your own device or USB device, which make good sense if we want to bring it into the same audio and video technology directly on our Windows-based PCs. So then they can be used for that. And then going into the PC-based solution, PC and a touch display. Gonna add a few slides into what the benefit of using our latest generation product is. And then for the more modular systems, we can then bring our G62 with the camera and microphones that you want to use. So here is our entire overview of the different solution put into small, medium, and large, and then also the more modular or integrated, which would probably be a town hall meeting or a canteen or an auditorium. There you can use the G62, or you could use a Windows-based Teams rooms. So in respect of time, gonna go through the slides quite quickly. So when looking at the Android-based solution, X52, like we're using right now, X72 is also released and in the market right now. And on ISE, we showed this small, beautiful product, which are the X32. And from my point, this is the biggest upgrade we have done from a first generation product to a second generation product. So first of all, we updated the chipset inside that device. Oh, sorry, I actually removed that slide because Mette was saying that I speak too much. So basically, you can take this small device, add it into a small meeting room, and you still have the full function of a native Teams rooms. You can even go with dual monitors on this device. And people sometimes don't know how big it is on a video, so I took an R30. So if you know the R30, you can kind of compare the sizes on this one. So you see it is a bit bigger, and that is mainly because we needed room for an additional speaker. So now you actually get a full stereo. We also added the speakers a bit bigger or more powerful. So on the X32, you will have really nice audio even in the small rooms. Want to try it?
It's a good size.
Yeah, really nice size. Yeah. I've had it sitting on the top of my desk at home for quite some time, so that's really nice. Going into the G62, this is where it's some people think it get a little bit more complicated, but I think you want to look at the G62 as the inside of a video bar. So it's basically just taking the compute power out of the video bar and a small codec like back in the good old days, where you can then connect whatever you want to the system.
Be more flexible in your design.
Yeah, so this is where you can actually choose which camera, microphones, and speaker you want to add to the meeting room. So first of all, a really simple but really cool thing that we got a lot of great feedback on is that it's magnetic. So we can deliver it with a small mounting plate, put it behind the screen. So if you have a really big screen, you don't need to have two guys moving the screen before you can go and do service on it. You can actually just take your hand and pull it out. and when the service is done, you can put it right back in behind the screen or in a rack shelf, of course. I created some pretty simple schematics on it, just so you have an idea about what you can do. We do also support third-party DSP in case you want to do it in a huge room, but sometimes we just want to add the simplicity of adding active speakers like we have in the room just next to us. Either 1, 2, 3, or either ceiling mic or a table mic. I'm preferred with the ceiling mics. Nothing on the tables, that's what I like. But we can actually also add our cameras on IP right now, so we don't need to have the long cable runs on USB or USB extender, which is often a miss.
Yeah,
makes it easier and less complicated and less issues to actually have. Then also, if you're looking at in Teams right now, Teams doesn't support multiple cameras on IP. We're working with Microsoft on that. It looks like it should be supported mid-April. So this is something that we are really hoping for. But if you need to go and do an installation right now today, if you need more than one camera, you need to go with USB. Also, an important thing to have in mind is that you need to choose either USB or IP. You cannot mix and match those cameras. Yeah. And then just a short description between the X and the V series. I think pretty easy. You get the entire feature set from the X series, but it's locked down, so you can't choose if it's a Teams, Zoom, or Google Room. You can basically just take your PC and whatever application you have on the PC. Then the V series will then be the extended arm of your PC, bringing really good audio and video to your meetings. Also a really nice device. This is actually one of the devices that I had in and being part of the beta program. I was so friendly that I actually shipped the device to Christopher so he could play a bit around with it. The V12 was basically built on the same chassis as the X32, but with a bit less functions. So the V12 is a really nice USB video bar, but without any options of adding additional cameras and additional microphones right now. That might change in the future, but as of now, it's a really nice video bar for the small huddle rooms and premium device. And I love to have it as a personal device. So you have a C-level, that might be a really nice device for them in a small meeting room.
Yeah, or the small 1 to 2 person meeting room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So right now, Christopher is showing the inside of the video bar. So you can kind of see that it have the dual stereo speakers, additional mic or several microphones, and then the cameras on top. I think one thing that we should mention also that it can be inverted. So in case you want to have it underneath the screen, then it does also support that.
And then we got a question regarding the V12. Does it replaces the R30?
On short term, no. We still have the R30 and the Studio USB, but I think without any official documentation, I think from my side that depending on the sales on the V12 is definitely a lot better in the image quality and audio quality. So I think that the R30 would go away probably within 6 to 12 months.
Good.
Yeah. So let me bring back my presentation, V12, and then one thing, and I know we are getting close to the end. I think it was 45 that we said, right?
Yes.
And one thing that I really wanted to show before leaving this thing is that we finally updated what we call Poly Spaces. So when you're sitting out there and you need to find the right solution for the specific room that you're having, then you could go to, this is a strange address, but hp.com/polyspaces. And there you will go to the updated version of our Poly Spaces. So here you can go and say, we want to create a medium-sized room, and you can then customize your solution. And here you can choose, should I have a Windows or an Android-based solution? And then you can actually view the solution, and now you also have a downloaded PDF version of it that you easily can share. And you will have some information about the products, the dimensions of it, the feature sets of it, the field of view, which is also quite important when you planning to build new rooms. And you will also have the cable diagram of all the solutions.
And that is really awesome. So you can go out and put these things in your quotes to the end users and show exactly what you mean and how you thought the solution will look like. And especially the thing with the cabling, that's also a question afterwards. Oh, how should we do that?
Exactly. So with respect of the time, both for you and I just want to do it shortly in regards to the Windows-based applications. So imagine the X series just in a V series. That is what you can connect to the Teams rooms on Windows. But I want to just highlight some features on the new Windows-based Teams rooms. So one of the challenges that we also often had was the remote control, or the touch console as Microsoft call it, having that stable, running USB cables, having power at the desk. But right now we actually support directly from the PC a PoE RJ45 connector. So you simply run a Cat6 cable between the PC and the touch console, and then it works like that. So we basically changing the console in the software so it works on a Windows-based system. That works already today. We also put it at HDMI just directly on the PC. We added some dedicated ports for a touchscreen. So in case you want to be interactive, you can run a single USB-C cable directly to the screen. And we also added a bit more powerful camera connection, which support a bit more power. But this is where it gets really interesting. Since we are running the touch console on IP, we can also add multiple touch consoles. And then you might be wondering, where do we want to do that? Well, where I often get the question is, if I have a meeting room with a lot of different setups or a really big boardroom, we are often getting asked, how can we make sure that the big CEO guy can actually mute the microphones without asking for someone else to mute the microphone? Now you can simply add an additional touch panel, or sometimes even just place a touch console just next to the screen, and then add additional TC10s depending on the room setup of the meeting.
I know this is about the touch console, but we have one question about regarding IP, mic and speaker for the T9 base kit.
Yeah.
Is that doable?
Not today. I don't see it be in short term or near future, but there will be new stuff going on the audio side. So yeah, a bit later this year.
Stay tuned.
Without saying too much, it will be quite interesting what you can do with microphones from HP Poly. So right now, IP microphones is only for the Android-based system. We support it right now on the G62. And we does also actually support it on the X72. So in case you have a X72, you can use that local network port we have and add up to 3 IP mics directly on the X72.
Good.
Yeah.
I have one more. Will you send the presentation, or will we send out the presentation afterwards? Is that okay to share with the?
I'm happy to share it. Then you can also see all the slides that we didn't show.
Exactly, but we keep something for the next time. I have one question more. We are running out of time, but how can you connect your PC to the system for content presentation from table in the room, HDMI, or wireless?
Yeah, so what we are using right now, we are using Cast or joining the same meeting, because that's really easy. That's, at least from my point, when I talk to customers, like, what are you doing at home? We are sitting with our laptop, we are presenting like we normally do. And then when going into the meeting room, instead of getting a hold of a wireless solution or the HDMI cable, then just do like you do at home. Join the meeting. Of course, mute the microphones and cameras, but that's always taken care of from Microsoft sites that actually recognize that you're in a meeting room. And then share the presentation as you usually do. That's what I do. There is an HDMI ingest on all our video bars, so you still have the option of HDMI, or you can add a wireless solution to that HDMI port. So there's a lot of different solutions, but I think it's back to make it simple for the users. Don't explain them 4 or 5 different ways of sharing content. Choose one. That's what you explain. And then when people find out there's other ways to do it, they will figure it out themselves.
Perfect. Then I think we got through all the questions. I don't know if there's anyone who has a last one.
I actually had a question the other day, which I think makes perfect sense when you guys are here. It's like Teams rooms on Windows. They can now be enrolled by autopilot and auto login, but they need some information before we actually can do that. And I think that's a brilliant point where you come in and give great support.
Correct, because when you are using autopilot, you need to have some data, and then we are able actually to create a CSV file that you can give to the customer, so it makes it easier for them to deploy their solutions. And we actually know a lot of companies are already using autopilot to deploy their PCs and laptops, and now it's possible to do the same with the Teams rooms on Windows solutions. This is not a feature that will ever come for Android due to the different kind of platforms, but again, if you have questions, then reach out to us. We are able to provide this service. It's a very, very small cost, and it would make life a lot easier for the ones who are working with autopilot today. And also, if you have any questions, need support, need guidance in creating a solution, pricing bit, that's where the Maverick team is definitely here to help you in all of the Nordic countries. So you're very welcome to reach out to us afterwards.
Yeah, I think this is where you do a great help, because Christoph and I have no idea about pricing. So if you ever come and ask or at least me for pricing, I have no idea, because we really focus on the technical stuff. And like, sometimes depending on the amount of units, there's bits involved or special pricing, which we don't have any idea about. So always best to reach out directly to the Maverick team.
I think we run over time now.
Yeah.
So I think we should round up and say a huge thank you to HP Poly to be part of this webinar together with us. And then we want to wish you all a lovely day. And again, reach out to us if you have any questions. We will send out the presentation afterwards.
Or when you have a use case where you need to bring the customers to this room, remember this place. It is very, very good. You must see it. So use it. It's made for you.
Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and have a lovely day.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
See you.
Bye.
Bye.